My sister cheated with my fiancé on our engagement day, and my family supported her. I'm 27 now, and not too long ago my dad, Charles, called me out of nowhere. We haven't spoken in 6 years. Yeah, it's been that long. Honestly, I didn't think I'd ever hear from him again, but when I picked up, he sounded desperate, and I mean desperate. The kind of voice you use when you're in deep trouble and don't know who else to call. I wasn't ready for what he was about to drop on me. He went on to tell me that my younger sister, Jennifer, and her husband, Max, were in some serious financial crisis. Apparently, they dug themselves into this huge hole, and now they were looking for someone to pull them out of it. And guess who he thought should help? Yeah, me. The same sister who betrayed me years ago. The same guy who was supposed to be my fiancé. Before I get into the recent drama, let me rewind a bit so you get the full picture. This crap storm didn't just pop out of nowhere. Jennifer is 25 now, and we were never really close. We weren't at each other's throats or anything, but there was always this distance. She was always a little sneaky, always looking for a way to get ahead. But I never thought she'd go as far as stabbing me in the back the way she did. Max, the guy I was going to marry, was everything I thought I wanted. We met in college, classic love story. We were together for 5 years. 5 freaking years. By that point, I thought we were solid. He proposed, and I was over the moon. We planned this whole engagement party, and it was supposed to be the happiest night of my life. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. That night, everyone was celebrating, laughing, drinking all that good stuff. I remember feeling like the luckiest person in the world. How often do you get a night like that where everything just feels right? Well, apparently not as often as you think. Around 10 p.m., I stepped outside to take a call. I needed better reception, so I wandered into the backyard. It was dark, but the string lights were still on. And that's when I saw them. Jennifer, Max, together. Not just together, but really together. Kissing. Like they didn't give a damn who saw. For a second, I just stood there, frozen. My brain couldn't catch up to what my eyes were seeing. Like, this couldn't be real, right? Who does that? And on the night of your freaking engagement party. Felt like time just stopped. They didn't even notice me at first, which was wild. I was standing just a few feet away, and they were so into it they didn't even see me watching. When they finally noticed me, their faces dropped. They stopped kissing, obviously, but it was way too late. I didn't say anything. I just turned around and bolted. I don't know how I made it to my car without completely breaking down, but I did. I sped off to the nearest hotel, checked in, and just collapsed on the bed. I couldn't even cry at first. It was like my body was too stunned to react. The aftermath, betrayal in writing. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, that there had to be some kind of explanation. But deep down, I knew. Jennifer and Max had been screwing behind my back. As I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jennifer. I almost didn't want to look, but curiosity got the better of me. Her message: "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to find out like that. I'm in love with Max. We've been seeing each other for a while." Reading it hurt worse than seeing them together. There was something about seeing those words written out that made it feel so much more final. She went on about how she didn't mean to hurt me, but she couldn't help how she felt. Blah, blah, blah. Max texted me too. He said he was sorry, but then he added that he had proposed to me because he thought it would make his feelings for Jennifer go away. What kind of twisted logic is that? He thought marrying me would somehow help him stop thinking about her? That's when it really hit me I was just a placeholder. Max had been using me until he figured out how to be with Jennifer. That moment broke me. The ultimate betrayal from my family too. I stayed in that hotel for 3 days not talking to anyone, just trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do next. When I finally went back home to get my stuff, I wasn't prepared for what I walked into. I thought the house would be empty. Instead, everyone was there. My dad, my stepmom, Jennifer, even Max. It was like they were waiting for me. Normally, when you've just been royally screwed over, you'd expect some sort of apology, right? But no. The second I walked in, they all acted like nothing happened. Jennifer came up to me, tears in her eyes, and hugged me, like I was supposed to feel sorry for her. Max stood in the back, looking awkward as hell, but no one said anything. No one apologized. I told them I was just there to pack my things and leave. That's when Max spoke up, saying he was moving in with Jennifer now that everything was out in the open. And my dad and stepmom? They didn't seem fazed. In fact, they looked happy. My own family was happy that my sister had stolen my fiancé and that I was out of the picture. I asked them straight up why they were smiling. What the hell was so funny? And my dad, my own father, had the nerve to say, "We can't change what happened. It's better to just accept it and move on. Move on. My sister stole my life, and I'm just supposed to be okay with it?" It felt like I was in some twisted nightmare, where everyone around me was insane, and I was the only one seeing how messed up it was. Jennifer gave me some half-assed apology, saying she couldn't help falling in love with Max and that they were meant to be together. I was so done. I packed up my stuff, told them all to go to hell, and walked out of that house for the last time. After I packed my stuff and left my backstabbing family behind, I decided to cut them off completely. It wasn't some dramatic decision, it was just common sense. I changed my number, blocked them on everything, texts, social media, emails, the whole 9 yards. I didn't want any fake apologies or pathetic messages from Jennifer, Max, or anyone else in my so-called family. And honestly, for the next few months, it felt like I could finally breathe. I wasn't waking up every day wondering if I was going to get hit with some new drama or have to deal with the fact that my own family chose my sister over me. I focused on my work, built up savings, got a new apartment, and moved on. Life was good. No, scratch that. Life was great. They weren't a part of my world anymore, and I was better off without them. But of course, things never stay peaceful forever. Because 5 years later, yes, 5 years of absolute silence from my family, I got a phone call. It was from a number I didn't recognize, and at first I thought, no way am I answering this. But for some reason, I picked up. And guess who was on the other line? My dad. I had no idea how he even got my number. I made sure they had no way of contacting me. For a second, I thought about hanging up, but then I noticed something off. He sounded weak, like completely beaten down. I stayed on the line, just to hear what he had to say. And then he dropped the bomb. Turns out, Jennifer and Max, yeah, the golden couple my family had defended, were in deep trouble. They were flat broke. Apparently, they had started some business venture, thinking they could be entrepreneurs or whatever, but it tanked. Their investors pulled out, their debts piled up, and now they were drowning. And who did they think should bail them out? Me. I sat there, completely stunned. I hadn't heard from these people in years, and now they wanted me to save them? Then my dad said something that almost made me drop the phone. They needed $75,000. $75,000. Like, where the hell did they think I was getting that kind of money? Did they think I'd just been hoarding cash all these years, waiting for them to come crawling back? Absolutely insane. I asked my dad straight up, why are you coming to me? Why don't they ask their friends? And that's when he admitted it. They already tried. And guess what? Everyone else said no. Even Max's family, who had always supported them, wanted nothing to do with this mess. So now suddenly I was family again? Now that they were in trouble, I was the only one they could turn to? Jennifer didn't even have the guts to call me herself. According to my dad, she was too embarrassed to ask me directly. Yeah, because she knew I'd shut her down in a second. Dad tried to guilt-trip me, of course. They've learned their lesson. We're family. You can't just abandon them. I almost laughed. Now we're family? Now that they need me? I told my dad flat out that I wasn't helping them. Not a chance in hell. That's when my dad lost it. He started calling me selfish, saying I had become cruel and bitter, and was letting my grudge tear the family apart. Excuse me? I reminded him exactly how this family treated me. How they stood by while Jennifer destroyed my engagement. How they defended her, told me to move on, and made me feel like I was the problem. He just sighed heavily, muttered, I hope you don't regret this, and hung up. That was supposed to be a threat, I guess. But the only thing I felt after that call? Relief. Like a weight had been lifted. I knew, without a doubt, that I didn't need these people in my life anymore. And if they were struggling now, that was on them. I blocked my dad and moved on. Or so I thought. A few days later, I was finally starting to feel at peace again. And then my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and I had a bad feeling. When I peeked out the window, my stomach dropped. Standing on my front porch, looking all kinds of pissed off, were Jennifer with smudged makeup, probably from crying, Max, pacing back and forth, looking angry, my dad, Julie, my stepmom. They were all there, like some pathetic intervention team, thinking they could pressure me into caving. Jennifer started banging on the door. We just want to talk, she yelled. Max, standing behind her, glared at me like I owed him something. I opened the door just a crack, enough to talk, but not enough for them to push their way in. Me, what do you want? Dad, we need to talk. Me, we already talked. You gave me your ultimatum. I'm not helping them, and I'm not changing my mind. Jennifer stepped forward, her voice cracking. Please just hear us out. We know we messed up, but this is serious. We're about to lose everything, and that's when I said it. That's not my problem. Jennifer's jaw dropped. Max looked like he was about to explode. You think you're better than us now because you have money? Max sneered. I didn't even flinch. No, I said, I think I'm smarter than you because I didn't throw my life away chasing something that was never mine to begin with. Max lost it, but my dad held him back. We're leaving, Dad said, defeated. Yeah, I said, holding the door wide open. You are. They stood there, waiting for me to change my mind. But I didn't. I stood my ground. And as they walked away, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. For the first time since all this began, I knew, without a doubt, I was never looking back.